fourth and final team. So some good heroes in there. We're definitely going to be coming at you today. Hopefully you're excited. You know we are. With that said, I know somebody else that's pretty excited, I'm sure. Got the one and only Minnie here. Minnie, how's it going?
Hey man, yeah, I am really excited for today. Just seeing who can really advance on to be that fourth and final team. And I mean, I always had my sort of thoughts on who would make it, but after yesterday and a couple of weeks before, everything's up in the air unless you breaky. So I guess we're going to find out today.
Yeah.
I guess.
Definitely, obviously yesterday, Reason Gaming did take out Nullstone Gaming 2-1 to ultimately claim that number 1 seed from Group B. But Nullstone Gaming, they're hungry, but so are both of these two teams. Obviously there has been a lot of talk about Trek going into these playoffs. A team that really didn't have the biggest splash necessarily throughout the regular season. They bounced back and forth between Diamond and Gold, but the idea that they at least were landing, they possibly are still landing from my understanding, definitely boot camping in a sense, really trying to get prepared, really taking this event seriously. So they've kind of been a dark horse team. Again, they took Nullstone to 3 games earlier on in this tournament. Team Who on the other side, this is a team with definitely a couple of players that we recognize. Didn't look the prettiest against Reason Gaming. Obviously, Reason Gaming a great team, but of course they did defeat yesterday's opponent to get to this point, so I'm intrigued to see what they bring to the table. But this is kind of a matchup of two teams that we didn't get to really check out too much during the regular season, but don't let that fool you, because I'm sure we'll still have a pretty good best of the 3 here. Going to be coming at you. So with that said, we got the bans and picks to talk about, so let's get it right into it. Magnus, Warbeast, Dr. Pulsar, and Ophelia were the initial bans. Tremble into Swiftblade, Parasite into Glacius, and Prisoner into Bubble so far is what we see here. So the good old Tremble, first pick, coming out by Ogre over here.
Yeah, definitely, and I mean, I've talked about it a little bit before and how different teams are slowly starting to prioritise the hero, and I've always thought the hero, particularly after getting sort of change, or when he was added to the competitive scene, he's just so strong, and you have to know, or you have to have at least one person that can play him on your team, for example. Nock has played him before in the last series we cast of him. I think it was yesterday, played very, very well, and assuming to be the same here as well, honestly. And it goes back to, honestly, like, whether you should ban it. And I think you have to. He's one of the strongest heroes in the game right now, alongside your Doctor and Warbeast, for example, and no surprise he's first picked here, to be honest. But then obviously with the Prisoner as well, Prisoner started making his way back into the scene, honestly. And I think it's more so because he's a really strong hero against Swiftblade. And Swiftblade has always been sort of a high tier pick, so a lot more sort of counters in terms of hero picks here are slowly making their way into the competitive scene. So
yeah,
like more with Dr. Pulsar as well, like the other day we saw. So yeah.
Again, we have seen plenty of heroes. I believe there's only been something like 6 or 8 heroes at the most that were not picked up throughout Han Tour Season 3. It's just crazy knowing that stat. Right there, so that means really 110 plus heroes or something like that were picked up to the regular season over the 4 to 5 months or whatever it was. So definitely pretty crazy diversity we had. Again, we don't have the stats necessarily even from the first 2 seasons, but I would safely say that that's definitely the most diverse it has been, which has been pretty cool to watch from a spectator point of view. Definitely. So here we are into the next tier of picks with that said. The follow-up bans, they finished off like this. Empath, Rhapsody, Kraken, Torturer, Cthulhu Font, and Midas was that final ban. Speaking of another hero that's been getting attention more and more lately once again in that Midas. So going to be banned out here from Team Who. And now back over to Shrek. Let's see what their 4th pick is. Of course, a support option is definitely still possible. You see a couple of those bans being towards a support. So makes sense there, but as usual, still plenty of other options left.
Yeah, they need to pick up a support, something that can work well in the dual mid I've talked about before. With Prisoner, I always like to see him paired up with the dual mid. The one issue, obviously, he's facing a Bubbles, and it's most likely Bubbles might be played as actual mid instead of the Suicide lane, just because of how prevalent and how good he is actually against Prisoner. But there's Andromeda, though, so I mean, a hero that is, it's okay in the dual mid, but we don't see him too much, so it might actually just be sort of played as sort of support to Tremble, for example, and most likely leave Prisoner 1v1, which I can understand because they don't really want to send a support against Bubbles in the middle lane because he's going to handle it himself. But at the same time, if you leave Prisoner 1v1 against Bubbles, Bubbles will most likely win that lane. So
yeah,
sort of see how it sort of fares out. Who they still got? I mean, Tempest is still on the board. I saw them right clicking it before. They are playing against Parasite and Andromeda, and that could be the reason why they picked up Andromeda, though. Almost reducing the chance that Who will pick up Tempest because of that sort of dual ways of dealing with the Tempest ultimate now.
Yeah, to sway them from doing it. So, if that is the case, though, if anything, I almost want to say that it's like a wasted end drop where they could have done picked it up last if they figured maybe Tempest would have been coming here. But this is also, just making a point like you better not pick it up or else it's going to be dangerous for you. So now it gives Who the chance to kind of react to that, of course, as they're delving into the extra time. About 35 seconds already remaining at this point. Slaska Duret. I don't know why I try to pronounce that full name. Anyways, the captain of the team. Slask. Let's just go with that. They pick up Silhouette, so Certes most likely get his hands on Silhouette here.
Yeah, I like the pickup here because I think Silhouette's going to have a nice, easy laning stage because they picked up like Parasite and Prisoner and Andromeda. And although you could run like maybe an aggressive or even aggressive pseudo tri-lane, it's unlikely, I believe, anyway, because if Who pick up like another support here, running an aggressive pseudo tri-lane versus like a defensive tri-lane, the defensive tri-lane is always going to be in sort of an advantage because they can just block out the camps and the Parasite becomes completely a non-fact, and then it's just a tri-lane versus a dual lane. So assuming that Silhouette should have a nice, easy time, and then Kinesis picks up here from Ogre, actually. So similar to Midas in the sense that both decent in the off-lane or 1v1 scenario and both dish out a lot of early magic bursts. So reasoning why probably because I banned out the Midas. Actually, this is the last pick. But, pick up Legionnaire though.
Yeah, so they have the option for Tempest, but we were talking about the Tempest counters already on the Legion side, so staying away from him. They go Legionnaire instead.
The one issue with that Legionnaire pick, though, is that does leave them kind of vulnerable now if Ogre do want to run like some kind of aggressive pseudo-tri-lane, because Legionnaire won't be able to handle his own against a Parasite. So Ogre definitely have the ability to do so, maybe like a Parasite, Andro, and Prisoner, perhaps. And then just leave the Kinesis and Tremble, both solo laners, and try and shut down Silhouette and Legionnaire from the get-go. But we'll have to wait and see what Ogre are looking to do.
Indeed we will, but with that said, let's get it on. As the announcer said, game number 1, kicking it off here. Here we go. The final day of Group B, and again, before we'll find out which 4th and final team will be joining the Final 4 in that final bracket, of course. But into the game we go now. You do see the mountain placed off right off the bat, of course. Horsespell, a.k.a. Nox. That's what we know him by from his Han history. He's one playing again. He showed us yesterday that he definitely is very comfortable with this hero and knows what he's doing with it. The micromanagement was definitely on top of his game, so that's something that Team Who is going to have to look out for in the end here. Is they all 5 are heading towards the top lane with that said as well, so possible chance for some clash to come out here. Even just figuring that that's what they're trying to do, trying to counter-ward, of course, against this Legionnaire, screw him over. Look at that mountain placement right there. Just takes out all the trees. It's like, trees, you no longer exist. Just throws down the mound. So gets the ward a side up, and then, again, we assume Tremble will eventually enter the short lane, as it looks like he's doing here. So, are they going to go aggressive, or no, it doesn't look like it.
I don't know. I think they might, though. Parasite is looking...
Oh, yeah. Where is he going to end up here? Gets a Ring of Teacher first.
Ring of Teacher. Wow, that is an interesting first starting pick up here from Nova Pro Light. I guess he's just looking to almost build an early Abyssal Skull. It's something that I know some Parasites, I think it was Tankfit was one of the first people to do it. I remember when he was back on BMG. The one issue with going at first starting is that you can have a little struggle in terms of keeping mana regeneration up, whereas if you have Blood Chalice, obviously you never really have that issue. But he's obviously practiced it, so yeah. Interesting to sort of see how it's going to work out anyway.
By the way, big shout out to the CIS scene over there in Russia and whatnot for Heroes of New Earth. And not only shout out for a couple of reasons. One, because the scene really is growing over there. It's definitely good to see. And they have their own streams going on every now and then, and some great events definitely chime in. But also, again, they're sending one team, and actually their team was decided today. Cats Gaming did defeat Mecha 3-2 in an epic best of 5, I heard, to send Cats Gaming to Thailand for the World Finals. So congratulations to Cats Gaming. Of course, Cats Gaming definitely has some history when it comes to international competition. They've been to plenty of DreamHacks, as well as even, I believe, the GSL, the first one that we had on top of that. So definitely going to be excited to see them again and seeing what they can bring to the table. But again, a big congratulations to them. But I'm sure that's a pretty good feeling knowing that they're going to be going. So we know yet another team here that is representing. But back to this match here. We need to find out which other team is doing in Sync Esports, of course. I'm looking at this bottom lane. I mean, you see Andromeda just doing her part to try to box out Swift Play, but it's not easy.
It's hard though. Yeah, this is what like Andro is a great roaming support, but isn't the greatest sort of boxer because has low attack damage. I mean, the range actually is very, very poor from Andromeda, 42 to 52, and obviously has the low range as well. So one issue with him, can't really box out a Swiftblade, and he doesn't want to draw too much creep aggro and lose the lane control as well. But I think whenever I've seen teams do it, they straight from the get-go, they put pressure onto the suicide lane. And at the moment, they're not really pushing the Swiftblade too much, honestly. And it's giving him a lot of levels anyway. The XP is very, very high.
Yeah. Now, Parasite is coming over here. He has a Skeleton King, actually, so again, he can actually lock him down through the spin as well, remember. Common stuff from Andromeda, you know what's coming. There we go, he was in time, takes the damage. In comes the Skeleton King, spin comes out. Gonna throw out the Skeleton King net, though, and that will be a kill on a Swiftblade. So good job by Parasite, waiting for the inevitable TP to happen, as he expected before he threw that net. And meanwhile, middle lane, Bubbles. Oh, what a hook attempt right there from Mighty Marcus. That was actually pretty close, but of course with that take cover as well. Bubbles able to avoid it fairly easily in the end. But yeah, great setup on a Swiftblade. We just got finished talking about how it's somewhat difficult. Well, with the Parasite addition there, obviously able to set it up. So
yeah, and it just goes back to obviously they try to keep the lane control perfectly just because of that, and made sure to get an easy kill. So good rotation from Denver Pro as well. I suppose.
Top lane, how's that one going on up here? Kinesis 7-1. Versus a Silhouette who's 9-3 so far, and actually has a creep of Adder Tower. Oh my god, the burst damage. Kinesis, he's going for the kill actually. Not enough damage, and he's out of mana. And he's in a little bit of trouble. Oh, the minion was just out of range. He tried to throw for the kill. And now he's in a lot of trouble. I'm pretty sure he's dead right here. He's going to try to hide and maybe delay it as long as possible. He does not have mana, though. A couple more auto attacks. Glacier's trying to save him for Silhouette, and he will do so. Well played right there. Sarah just ends up picking up credit. So very... He went big man mode, Messera did, but unfortunately not big enough. Just one auto attack away.
Yep. And, I mean, I always see this, though, from Suicide Kinesis. Like, either it works so well or it fails so hard. And I know we go back to Boxy all the time, but he's, like, honestly, I think he's one of the only players on the scene that I see him, like, work the Suicide Kinesis so well. Like, he never seems to overextend, and he just knows the hero so well. Whereas like heroes or players that just don't seem to do as or are well versed with the hero just don't seem to do it as well. Like because with that one kill, like now he's 130 GPM, level 3, and Silhouette is now farming a lot better. And it's a fine line when you play a Suicide Kinesis, and that's the one issue with him. But
now you brought this up earlier with Nox here playing the Tremble, how he decides to build it, and he is maxing out the mounts here. It looks like again, already 2 points into it at least so far. But again, curious to keep an eye on that. If he eventually does max it out, I mean, at the point that when we did see him play it before, that's what he did. So likes to be very active with those mounds and spreading them throughout the map. I mean, he just a level 5, so actually gets 2 into Dark Swarm right here. But the point is he is leveling that up. I believe he also just stayed on that level 1 in Pillars as we talked about. Back to the top lane, by the way, Kinesis again goes down.
This is what I was trying to talk about. Swiftblade might be going down as well, actually.
Well,
so, suicide for suicide, but the difference is though is that they're shutting down this. The rotations from Parasite has been involved, whereas the jungle Legion hasn't done too much. The middle lane, Bubbles might be in trouble. Oh, nice take cover actually.
Perfect timing, yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. This Suicide Kinesis, I'm not really sold on it. I haven't seen it work for anyone outside of Tree and Boxy, honestly. And it's a very, very high skill gap when you play Kinesis on the Suicide lane, because it's just so easy to die like that, unless you have perfect positioning.
Silhouette, so yeah, we're giving some praise to Silhouette here, and again, more so Kinesis struggling, but you do look at the Legion side, it's even more in favor of them. The fact that Tremble's even further ahead of Silhouette, nearly 450 gold per minute already, and you got a Swiftblade is only 80 GPM. So, yes, it's going bad for Kinesis, but it's going even much worse for Swiftblade, to be fair. So, keeping that in mind there. And again, Tremble, he's up there on the GPM chart.
It's true. And Suicide's going to go for Ghost Marches here as well, and I think I talked about before, like whenever you're going against like a heavy burst team, normally you want to pick up the Steam Boots just so you can sort of survive from the burst, but if not, you want to be going for the Ghost Marchers, but he is fairly against a pretty decent burst damage team, so it might come back to haunt him, but
oh, Kinesis trying to get the kill. No, it's not enough damage, and he ends up going down right there again, going for the top room. Bubbles happened to get it just before him with the double damage. He did a good attempt to try to get the kill. It was close, but again, just no cigar there. And an 0-3-0. Kinesis now, not the best of starts. Middle lane, Bubbles actually trying to pick up this kill. Freeze actually comes out. Prisoner, he's in trouble. He goes to the hook, just going for a turn kill, but good collapse right there. I was wondering about that kill, but it seemed like it was a little early even, but he knew exactly what was going on. Had the communication, Swiftblade and Glacius both collapsing, and sure enough, Prisoner does fall right there. So good movement coming out, and this Bubbles now, the captain of Team Who over here, 1-0-1. He's off to a great start, of course, and even going to put some pressure on this middle tower at this point. Here comes the Parasite Wild Hunter, and that'll scare them off for the time being. But again, some good news for them, but you still got the Tremble to worry about. 450 gold per minute, and I believe he would have just purchased a Thunderclaw. No, Warp Cleft picked up, so on his way to a Thunderclaw. Of course, is that item of choice here. The Ghost Marchers on Certus playing the Silhouette. Again, expect to see the usual build, I'm sure, into the Nullstone here. No reason not to see that. Andromeda has enough gold for his boots if he wants to get him. Maybe pick up the side chop over here. Bubbles level 7, though. Again, Kelfield's going to be coming off cooldown in about 40 seconds now, so we'll see if he looks to make more action happen with it or not.
If you look at Parasite, he actually has gone first time in Business Sky, actually, which is really frustrating. Kind of surprising, actually.
Yeah.
Interesting nonetheless, and he's actually maxed out the Infest as well. I mean, I talked about how Tankfet did it as well, but he didn't. I don't think he rushed the Biscuit. I think he went Ghost Marchers first and then went into it. But it does work quite well if you're looking to start getting involved in terms of pushing towers, and obviously you can go for the early puzzle box as well after that. And so I guess it can have a big impact. I would like to know his reasoning why he sort of completely nullified the Ghost Marchers, but nonetheless, middle lane Prisoner might be in trouble again, perhaps.
Yeah, he's being collapsed on right here once again. Bubbles does have that Kelfield as he's coming in right now. Legionnaire was the one in there first. There's the Kelfield coming out. The first damage on the Legionnaire from Kinesis, not enough. Swift Slashes is enough to take a Prisoner, despite bouncing into a couple of creeps right there. Andromeda charging in, trying to get a kill himself, but he is by himself. No, maybe not. Tremble and Kinesis, they join the party. Swiftblade is in trouble. A couple more auto attacks for him. He's being slowed. There's the net from Boris. And down falls Swiftblade. However, Silhouette now comes in, and a big Death Lotus to start things off. Andromeda gets picked off. Tremble, he's feeling takey, trying to maybe finish off Legionnaire. Does not want to overstep his boundaries, though, and he may have right there. Pops that Dark Swarm of his, mitigating some of the damage at least. Bubble still chasing, has a Shell Surf coming up.
Right.
Oh, they guessed the wrong direction, though. Good job by Horsebow right there. Going his own way. And able to avoid death himself. So, I mean, big picture, I think maybe a 2-for-1 exchange, if I'm not mistaken, in favor of Team Who right there. So they do come out on top, but at least Tremble stayed alive.
Yeah, that's true. And it just, again, though, I think we've seen this Prison versus Bubbles matchup 1v1 a lot of times now, and I think every single time it has been in favor of Bubbles. Bottom lane, wow.
That is huge. The carry picks off the other one. Not often you see that early on in the game, but
that's so big, actually.
Yeah,
it really is huge because not only is it obviously Nox reducing farm and obviously increased the Silhouette, but it's the levels as well. Like Nox was the highest level on the team, and then after that, Silhouette is now the highest level in the game. So really big kill, and the GPM jump is completely in favour of Silhouette now because of that one kill. So massive pick off there from Certus.
Yeah. That is big, big, big. And you see Certus even, picking up the farm at the bottom lane, taking out at least one of the Terror Mounts right there. On top of that, Alice and his GPM and much higher than Tremble. Again, Tremble's upwards of 450 earlier on in this game, but he's not in 360 right now. Now they're going for the kill. He's going for a counter kill. In comes a Minotaur stun from Silhouette. He's killing off the illusion. He spent a lot of time doing that right there, making sure he couldn't port to it. Will it pay off in the end? Boris charging in. Boris going to assist for the kill most likely. Yes, as Denver Pro picks it up on Parasite, but at what cost right here? Can he take over Boris? I don't think he can. He doesn't have Infest anyway, so it doesn't matter. Can he take over Boris, actually? I assume not. I never really thought about that.
I don't think so.
He can't take over, like, Boo Boo, so yeah.
Yeah, he can't take over Wild Soul, so...
Okay, but anyways, he didn't even have enough mana, so he gets taken out right there. But, hey, they get the turn kill onto Silhouette, so
Bubbles?
An eye for an eye right there, he says. Bubbles! Bubbles is doing work here early on, man.
Yeah. And it just goes back to the Prisoner vs. Bowls matchup. Like, this is why I always talk about whenever you play Prisoner, you have to play him 2v2, it feels like, or at least 2v1, because the hero just doesn't have the greatest laning phase. Like every single game I've seen Bubbles versus Prison, I think we've seen like, at least 3 or 4 times this whole tournament, and I think Bubbles has won it like every single time. So a little bit of slight frustration here for Ogre, but they still got great things going for them. Obviously the Tremble and the Parasite's doing very well, but they'll need their initiation factor, and obviously Mizero's got the offlane, so he won't be able to really pick up Portal Key. It has to rely on this Prisoner, so... I mean, they do have double stack Ancients, maybe he's going to look to start going on to that as well, perhaps after pushing out the wave, for example.
Yeah, definitely something that they could take advantage of here, but yeah, Tremble and his success is only going to mean so much. Is basically what that comes down to in the end. Definitely the supporting cast around him, and it starts with those Portal Key initiators, as you mentioned, the Prisoner and the Kinesis eventually. Down the line, Prisoner, though, he's nowhere near it. I mean, he just finished his Steam Boots. Yeah, it's 76 gold on him, so still has quite a bit of distance before that's going to be happening. Top lane poured in. However, they go on a Kinesis first with the Legionnaire says, I got a Portal Key, and takes him out right there. Andromeda and Parasite come in. Silhouette, that is the fake one, I believe. Yeah, that should be the fake one, so of course they just pick it off just in case. And what's done is done, but also Legionnaire did get away, and Legionnaire, man, the pretty early Portal Key. He did go Striders, though, so I guess it makes a little more sense there. Seems like this bottle build, though, is becoming more popular in Legionnaire, thanks to Slapped.
Yep, it's true, though, and I really do like it because like before, the Legionnaires we saw were very passive, very sort of defensive. They pick up the Hellblight Legion first and then go from there, but the bottle gives you all the regeneration you need. It just allows you to get that Portal Key a lot faster, which allows you to get active more. And when you're getting active, you're taking control of the game, you're dictating the tempo, and that's what you want in the competitive scene. You do not want to give the enemy team to continue out their game plan. So, yeah, I really do like the build.
Legionnaire, he's taking the triple stack Ancients out right here with the assistance of Glacius. So, speaking of him, he's working towards his next tier item, whatever that may be, 620 gold saved up. Oh, Swiftblade comes in, though. Yeah, I want to share some farm right here. Swiftblade, again, he's one that's really been struggling, so...
And this is the one thing you can't do if you go this sort of bottle strides, but you can't solo tank triple stack Ancients.
Sure.
Like if you have Helmlight Legion, you can, but it doesn't matter. Though. Like obviously, you just bring up another person there, give Swiftblade a bit of farm, and it's just a lot more efficient use of resources. It's all about working as a team, and who are doing that right here anyway?
Yeah. Sustainer picked up on Silhouette, so Nullstone is in the works for her. So again. Pretty usual, typical route there. Kinesis bottom lane, porting somewhere, going top it looks like. Just to pick up the farm that inevitably is being pushed in. He's only level 7 though, and against Silhouette level 12 here, as you can see. So, you see Silhouette has the illusion up. We've kind of criticized this and some Silhouette players every now and then not having that illusion up, but you see right there, that's why you want it up, man. If he didn't have it up right there, that would have been a lot of incoming damage and very likely could have been a kill. He wasn't careful, so.
I think it was actually Certus the one to be criticised as well, so he's definitely learned from his mistakes.
He obviously watched the cast and was like, you know what, that guy's right. So picking up on it right there. Yeah, he has the Nullstone already, so again, his farm is looking pretty here.
And this just goes back to Ogre not trying to punish Silhouette in the lane. I talked about before, similar to Oogie. Like whenever you play against these sort of snowballing carries like Silhouette, like Oogie, you have to punish them in lane because they don't have the greatest laning phase. And Ogre could have done just that. Like they had the Parasite, they had like Kinesis or even Prisoner if they wanted to sort of pair up with the Andromeda. And who couldn't have really dealt with it? They had a Legionnaire in the jungle, they didn't have a second support, so I think they could definitely have punished the Silhouette, but now it's coming to fruition anyway, and it's not even the worst yet, because when she picks up a Portal Key, that's when she's going to get a lot more aggressive as well.
Yeah.
So.
Man, they missed out on an opportunity right there. Bubbles was sitting on top of this Andromeda and Parasite for the longest time with the Invis Rune, and then Legionnaire finally came in, but he Portal Keyed in, and that gave them the cue that something was going on, so they start falling back quickly. Weren't able to open up as a result, so a little bit of a misplay there perhaps from Legionnaire, kind of giving them information that they were trying to hide and missing out on the kill as a result. But hey, it's not the biggest deal in the world, again, especially when their team is up 5,000 gold and 6,000 experience. It's the first time I've honestly really glanced up at that this game, and holy crap, it really is a pretty significant lead here early on in favor of Team Who currently. So again, they got Tremble that they're leaning back on here. He has that Thunderclaw and a Mighty Blade now picked up, but they really need the Portal Keys. I think it's the big key right here at this point.
It was just hard, obviously, because Prisoner got dominated in lane from Bubbles, which is just the issue when you 1v1 against the match. Bottom lane, they're getting on Andromeda, they will find a kill. Like you just see the difference between like the tempo control, because who's got this portal key earlier? Like they got portal key and bubbles and Legionnaire, and you're just seeing the dictating of sort of the tempo and all these sort of play makes because of the portal key, and it just goes back to Prisoner having a poor time in lane, honestly, and it's sort of snowballed from there, honestly.
You see that Decapitate having level 2 of it, 450 life or less, they will be instantly killed. So
it's like half HP.
Yeah, you look at the Legion team, Kinesis and Andromeda especially are very vulnerable to that right here. So they have to be somewhat worried about that for sure. And hell, honestly, even Prisoner, even Strength Steam Boots, I guess, well, 1200 now. So you see, it's actually pretty good. But yeah, they kill you very quickly, and by himself even is the point. Throw the charge and maybe a spin or two on top of that. So you gotta be worried about that. Parasite is trying to finish his puzzle box here, so he went the Abyssal Skull first. So definitely, you know, somewhat of a unique item choice on a Parasite specifically, but feeling necessary here, and gonna be finishing that puzzle box soon. As far as a Portal Q race, another 1,500 gold saved up on Prisoner, just about at least, as he ports back to the middle lane. So again, he's still working on it, but is this raid possibly by the 18-19 minute marker? So should have it, pending any deaths or whatnot. You got a level 14 Silhouette, though, so focusing a lot on gold as usual, of course, but look at that experience as well. She's doing a lot of individual fight. Yeah, look at the XPM. I mean, 630.
It was the kill, though. It was the kill on Trimble that really did boost her XP, because obviously both were kind of equal, but they both, I think, both were like the highest level in each of their team, but then when one carry gets a kill onto the other, solo as well, such a big difference. Yeah, she's going to pick up a portal key, and she has, and with the 2 portal keys already from Legionnaire and Bubbles, expect a lot more action and a lot more tempo, which is exactly what Who need to do. They've been playing this very nicely, actually. Yeah. They get their portal keys on their sort of tempo controllers and just start making kills and plays happen. Really nice to see. And look at him go top lane.
He's going aggressively. He has the illusion up, so he is safe right here in that sense. He's trying to get the kill, but Comet's done a stasis smash prevent that from happening. Has he already ported? That's a fake one at top, I believe.
He's ported mid. He's mid.
0. Especially with the Nullstone, man. He jumps on a Prisoner right here in the middle lane, doing some decent right-click damage, but again, he doesn't want to dive too much. He ports out to the other one, and he's more than fine. So, and not getting kills here necessarily, but you just see the
pressure.
The pressure, exactly. I mean, you look at the lanes, and it's forcing them to fall back, missing out some last hits and some creep kills.
Yep.
Keeping them behind, and that's just fine with him. So
exactly,
he's going to continue to do that. Yeah, Certus, yeah, you are right. You know, we were criticizing him, and rightfully so, I think, the last time he did play Silhouette early on in the week. But hey, he stepped up his game this time around. He does have history on the 0, apparently. He's known for playing a very good Silhouette. So this time we are getting to see that quite a bit here with this play. Barbed Armor and a Legionnaire, by the way. This is a follow-up choice. We've talked plenty of that. It feels like a little bit here lately.
And I like what they're doing, though, as well, because they're like 6,000 gold ahead. Obviously, we talked about how they had the advantage in terms of initiation because they got 3 portal keys. And they're forcing their advantage onto the enemy team. Like, even though they're not looking for kills, although they're not finding these kills, they're pressuring them, and obviously you just saw Certus there killing off the Ancients. And you're just taking more liberties because you have that advantage kind of thing. And it's just the right way to play there. They're really constricting where Ogre can farm because of their sort of weak laning phase that they have.
Absolutely. In the jungle, that's just a Glacius Illusion, so never mind. Not much used right there, I don't believe, so not the biggest deal in the world. Swiftblade, he's recovered pretty well. Again, this is a hero that was 80 gold per minute, we pointed out early on in the game, and struggling most of it in the early laning phase, but he's now at about 260 GPM. He's got decent core early on. He's got the Ghost Marches and the Energizer on top of what is eventually going to be an Abyssal Skull. Meanwhile, Andromeda gets taunted, and shortly after, no, not enough for the kill initially, but it is more than enough in the end. Pops that Barbed Armor, by the way, has to dodge the hook from Prisoner. In goes the burst, but Kinesis, he nearly killed himself right there because of the Barbed Armor. Oh, boy. If it wasn't for his passive, I think he actually might have died right there, to be honest. I think that I've ended up absorbing a little bit in the end, so he does live, though. That's good.
But yeah, I mean, in the meantime as well, although it's kind of a bad trade per se, because they swapped the Legionnaire for an Andromeda, still does pressure top lane, actually.
Wow, nice deny. Will it come at a cost, though? Prison Break comes up, and he's just going to run away from it, so. Oh, that was a very nice deny, though, from Prisoner, standing his ground and able to do it with all the creeps there and the 2 silhouettes. So well played on his part.
Let's go back to the silhouette. To the Swiftblade. Like, the reason why he's been able to really come back is because he's just the hero that does. And I talked about how Kinesis is a very niche and skill high skill cap kind of hero, and it's not only because of the lane phase, but because of this as well. Because if you do fall behind on Kinesis, you don't have a way to get back into the game. Like, because you're a snowballing hero, you don't have a comeback mechanic. Whereas Swiftblade does. You know, he's a carry if you think about it sort of plainly, and he's just able to sort of farm stacks, farm jungle, and now he's only 300 GPM. And this is why I just Silhouette think it's Hick actually mid lane.
Yeah, that was a pretty big hook right there from Prisoner. Will they have the follow up though? I mean, no prison break. You see, Tremble was there, but he just really couldn't get close enough, and Boris wasn't nearby. So that's a missed opportunity, definitely. I mean, that was a big hook, really, from the tree. Silhouette had no clue, and they were not able to capitalize, unfortunately. She didn't have her illusion up either. So that was a prime time to get their first kill on her. The second kill, I guess. She did die earlier on. But anyways, point being, they missed out on an opportunity, and they need to capitalize on those, especially with, again, the start that continues to be at this point. You do see the Brutalizer on Tremble. Looks like he is going to be working towards a Shrunken Head now, though, to follow that up. Again, another one of those games, though. It's like Shrunken Head. Sure, it's still good to have, but it's not gonna make you immune by any means. There's a lot of physical damage coming out here.
Yep.
On this Hellborn side, starting with that Silhouette. So it's I don't know. I honestly think this is one of those games where you can look at it. Is that better than saving going like just to Soul's Bulwark instead? I know Prisoner is ideally going to get that eventually, but maybe not.
Well,
he's struggling though.
You say Tremble.
On Tremble, yeah.
He doesn't really seem to do too well with him because Tremble farms very, very fast because he's just kind of the nature of the hero. And when you play a hero that farms very, very fast, actually, Antrum is going to go down most likely.
Yes.
Yeah. When you play a hero that farms so fast, is that you don't want to be sort of wasting your item slots. Obviously, it can turn into a demonic breastplate, but it doesn't really seem to do too well with your hero anyway because you got high attack speed, and obviously Prisoner's going to pick up anyway. So I can understand what you're saying, but I think he's just going to need to have items that is going to be useful in the late game because it's looking like he's going to have to carry his team because his team is so far behind. Like this Kinesis, I mentioned it before, but he's been a complete non-factor in this game. Like it's really just been the Tremble and Parasite in this whole game, whereas for who everyone's been really a big help and a big factor, and that's why they're just so far ahead.
Yeah.
And now they're able to take so many liberties, like take the T1 tower mid, and now they can stop rotating into the jungle. And Ogre, I mean, what can they do? They can't really team fight necessarily. Kinesis has nothing really. Prison's got a portal key, yeah, but Tremble doesn't have a strong head, and who are like 8,000 gold ahead right now, so they can just take so many advantage off of Ogre, and Ogre are just forced to concede a lot of their resources right now.
Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of just trying to think to myself, it's like, that's actually Silhouette. Tremble coming in right here. Puzzlebox Mauler charging as well. I believe Parasite is inside of that, trying to finish off Swiftblade before they are going to be able to do that. He was not able to spin away in time. Silhouette pours the illusion at the last second. She's going to be fine for the time being. Legionnaire, though, it's a sacrificial lamb. You see the Mauler explosion going off right there, assisting plenty for that kill as a double tap for Denver Pro. And now actually Bubbles. He is, again, a slippery hero, of course, so not going to be a guaranteed kill on him. He has a take cover and a portal key here. Most likely going to use that combo. Just the portal key alone enough. Apparently has a TP. Shell surf into the water. And will go for the TP now, and I assume he is going to be fine as he is. So they got a couple of kills, though. Swiftblade and a Legionnaire, and that's good momentum and slowing down at least a little bit by Shrek right there.
Yeah, I mean, that was actually the right play to make from Who, though. They went into the jungle trying to restrict Ogre's farm, but they just didn't execute it properly. Like, I think 2 or 3 were by the Ancients, and by that time Ogre already initiated. And like, if Who were already there, they could have been able to take that team fight and just absolutely demolish it. But not the biggest deal. They only lose 2, and they get 1 off of Antro anyway. But,
yeah, it's mind lapses like that, man, I just don't get. Like, why is a support Andromeda pushing this bottom lane by herself that far? It just boggles my mind that you know, this top tier play, to be frank, is like, why are you doing that? There's literally no point. And with all the porta keys on the other team, you're very likely, as we saw right there, going to get picked off. So, I don't know. But he does, and perhaps just simply not paying attention to that. He is the captain of the team after all, maybe making decisions elsewhere, but he gets picked off. That's the ultimate point right there. Middle lane? No. Hook is just out of range right there. But yeah, I just keep going back to this Tremble where we have a little more passive time here. It's like, again, the Shrunken Head, I get it. I'm just trying to think of another item. I mean, maybe not the Soul Sport, but maybe even rushing something just like a wing bow. I mean, just something that gives you a defensive mechanism against all this physical damage incoming. I just feel like almost might be worth it over a Shrunken Head because of the matchup bit here. But Shrunken Head's just so routine at the same time. So it's actually Parasite. He's chasing out Silhouette at the bottom lane, doing more damage than I thought. Burst comes in as they finish off Andromeda. Actually gets picked off again. Swift Slash is jumping around. Silhouette still barely alive. Not for long, though. He does fall in the end. The Mauler Explosion once again doing work right there. Tremble is still well alive. Silhouette, by the way. Did she buy back? No, she did not, actually. She is still dead. But Glacius, what a glacial downpour right there. Doing some big damage, actually. And a couple of kills result soon after. Tremble now. He's standing his ground by himself all of a sudden as he kills Switchblade. And he is still scary strong. Going to go for the kill on Bubbles now. And I think he should be able. Oh, nice Star Spirit. Trying to delay what seems like is the inevitable. As it is. So Tremble does hold his ground when it's all said and done again. And actually gets a double tap.
It's just like 1v5 the whole team. That Tremble practically. Like, it's really fun to see. But yeah, they just jumped on the Silhouette, which was the right choice there from Denver Pro. And when she did sort of stop the initiation, I think Bubbles came in Storm Spirit or whatever the case may be. She just took too much damage to really be involved in the team fight, and that's why we're a little bit in favour of Ogre at the end of the day. But Treble still survives though, and he does so much damage. Like, he's doing a lot of work, like you said, though, even without the Shrunken Head. So maybe it'd be better him to either go something a little more offensive, or go for something more to do with like the physical presence there on the side.
Yeah,
of
it's not even necessarily offensive. Yeah, see, Whispering. I mean, see, I kind of like that actually. It's not what I was really thinking
decent
about,
armor.
to be honest. But yeah, decent armor, the lifesteal, the double proc, obviously, eventually a symbol. It's that makes sense to me. Yeah.
Yeah, it's useful, and I mean, like, obviously, there's no other attack modifiers like Brutalizer and Thunderclaw, their own unique ones. So we'll stack, which is cool to see. Yeah, and obviously the good armor as well coming out from Whispering Helm, extra 5 armor, and it's going to be useful when he picks up the similar rage, because his AOs is literally just right click the whole team, and who don't really have the best ways of dealing with it. They're only kind of like, they don't technically have, like, they have lockdown, but technically it's not like a stun. Obviously the Legionnaire is still going to be attacking, or the Trump's still going to be attacking through the Legionnaire taunt. So I guess maybe Shrunken Head's not even that needed. I wonder if he's going to make that Mighty Blade into a like a Geo, no, not Geo, sorry, Frostoff, but then I guess he's got the Whispering Helm anyway. So
I honestly think it could be a case like we were kind of debating ourselves with that. No, because it's a fake Silhouette. But at top lane, they pick off Jim Carreyrou playing that Swiftblade. He continues to really not have the best of games, unfortunately. 6 deaths for him now. And I think that might be the end of what's going on up here. As Tremble does pour it in, though, with the Mound. And he's going to look to put some damage on the Silhouette. Gets a Brutalizer proc right off the bat. The hook in from Prisoner. She does split, but they're very close to one another right now. And Prisoner doing some good damage to assist Bubbles. He pops in with the Kelfield, though, trying to stall him as much as possible. But again, you see Trouble. Kinesis picks off Silhouette in the background. Bubbles now going to get caught out as well, and will most likely fall. Shrike has just completely turned this game around in their favor. Down goes Legionnaire. A genocide with nobody dying on Shrek. That just happened, and you can safely say they have all the momentum in the game right now.
They just went in one at a time break. I think they initially jumped on the Swiftblade, then Silhouette just sort of was standing there. He got jumped, and everyone else ported in, and they got jumped. They just came one at a time, and it was just like they had a poor team fight over here at the Legion jungle because who weren't ready to take a fight, and the same goes here as well, like Deja Vu. They just weren't able to really coordinate as a team, as 5, because if they went as 5 and took a team fight from the start, then I think they would have been fine, but they just went in individually and just were not strong at all. Like, the strength comes as obviously when you're as a unit, as a team, but when they're going at one at a time, Ogre just able to capitalize.
Yeah. That was pretty ridiculous how well that went for Shrek Love over here, and there's the Shrunken Head on a Tremble, so he does eventually get it. Yeah, went the Whispering Helm first, and again, maybe still trying to decide ultimately what he wanted to do with everything, but he does go to Shrunken Head. He has another 2,300 gold saved up anyways, so yeah, that farm is really just continuing to shine pretty brightly here for him. As far as Silhouette's concerned, again, she has a Geometer's Bane. Her farm is still up there as well, 500 plus gold per minute, but she's definitely been stalled here lately. Again, a couple of deaths here in the recent history of really changed the pace of this game, is safe to say. And then you look back at a hero like Swiftblade, although he kind of recovered with farm at least, his impact has still been pretty minimal, unfortunately, and still waiting for him to get to at least somewhat of a threat as this game gets in the mid to later game stage at this point. But yeah, definitely looking back at the Tremble and the success that he has, and again, about the initiation as well as Tremble actually, okay, that is a real Silhouette right there, I believe. He does have an illusion that he could pour to out to the side if he finds it necessary. They're completely diving him, though. They're going to collapse on top of him. Trouble's in a lot of trouble. He pops the Shrunken Head way too late, though. And even if he did a damage.
I'm surprised. Like, there was there's two ways you go about that. Either you man up and you just start man fighting the silhouette from the start, or if you know the team that were coming in, which did seem that he knew that the rest of the team from who were coming in, then you just shrunken and TP. Instead he runs, and then right at the end you just shrunken. It's just to know about. He would have been fine, I think, either way. Either he mans fights and tries to do as much damage before he dies, or he just gets out straight away, but he does neither and costs his life, unfortunately.
Yeah, just got a little too panicked, perhaps, and that's obviously not good for them. And now Team Who, once again, it's got to be a comfortable kill for them. And another one coming out as Kinesis gets decapitated by Legionnaire right there. Bubbles, of course, there to assist as well. And now Parasite does push the top tower in while that fighting was happening. So I think after that pickoff, a couple of pickoffs there, and now even a Conquer kill in the works, this is clearly going to be one of these games. Just plenty of back and forth, and it's just going to continue that trend. So let's not get too comfortable with one team or the other, I think it's safe to say. Because, again, Who was upwards of 10,000 gold earlier on in this game.
They really were,
and it got collapsed, and even it was slightly for Ogre, but now it's back in favor of Who. So there's a token.
Yeah, so it's going to be a Wingbow onto Silhouette as well, which is going to be really useful. Because he should be able to almost outplay the damage from Kinesis. Obviously, he can dodge the mass control if he really wants to be like big plays like the Geospan or even the swap if he's on different ends of the map, for example. And then the rest of the damage is mainly physical from Tremble and Prisoner. So the Wingbow makes a lot of sense. Not only that, but with the extra range, he can sort of be at the back of the team fights because of the extra 100 range anyway. So I do like the pickup. It's going to be used for extra split pushing potential as well, that he's going to most likely have to start playing if Ogre start becoming a real threat in team fights. So yeah, makes sense with the pickup.
Roaming over, you see Silhouette just cleaning out some jungle stacks here, more so just jungle camps even, in the Legion jungle, doing what he can with that, and eventually falling into the lane now. Of course, they're going to see him in the lane over here, but I don't think they're going to be able to get over here in time to get too. Well, maybe he is sticking around. No, there's the portal key though. If he stuck around for those last couple of creeps, then he would have been in definitely some danger right there. But he portal keys away just prior to that, and thus he is fine. Again, that token of life still has plenty of time left on at 345. I mentioned the Dancing Blade there as well. Oh, damn. As far as Tremble's concerned, he has another 3,000 gold saved up. Do you think finishing the symbol next? I mean, or finishing the charged hammer, or just even going more of a straight damage item next, placing the TP slot?
Well, I think he should always have a TP slot open because obviously Tremble, similar to that Silhouette, is a very good split pusher, and obviously if Who are looking to go high ground, for example, he can either start split pushing, try and pressure high ground himself, and so he's always going to have that TP to sort of get back if he needs to. I think charged hammer won't do as much work as a symbol of rage, because he's going to have to be doing almost the bulk of the sort of heavy lifting in team fights, so he's going to have to get right in the front, and he's going to be man fighting the Silhouette. So I think Symbol of Rage would be good. He'd give him a lot of sustainability in team fights, and charged hammer, I don't think it's really needed. It's a good item pickup eventually, but I think he's going to sell the charged, the Thunderclaw eventually, the late game anyway. So I don't think he even wants to sort of upgrade it anyway, because it'd be a waste of gold. So.
Ooh, Tremble, it's a trouble right here. He pops the trigger, going to run away this time. He turns on a Legionnaire, actually. Again, that barbed armor, though, has to be a little careful about that. Not doing the most damage, though, to him in the end. And it will go through for a kill. Andre Bubbles also bursted down shortly after as Parasite comes in to assist with that damage. Parasite, by the way, has a Soul's Bulwark himself here, picked up. So he's playing a pure utility here in that sense. And Andromeda swapping at the last second, puts the stun out. Actually is going to survive again with the armor buff, at least initially. Burst comes out from Kinesis, but Prisoner is here as well. So really wants this kill. He will get it. And then he ports out at the last second to his illusion. So well played right there by Certus. Able to ninja the kill and get the hell out of there. But again, a couple of his teammates getting picked off in the process. As Tremble leading the way with that. There is the Wingbow, and there is the symbol. So both carries finish a very significant item here. And nearly 35 minutes in.
That gank from Legionnaire and Bubbles, they completely underestimated the damage they had to try and kill the Tremble, though. Like, he has 2.2k HP, he has the Shrunken Head, and obviously a lot of armor as well. And Who, particularly Bubbles and Legionnaire, really must have regretted that choice after falling to both of them.
Yeah. Pretty crazy just again to see the even split of this game. The GPM chart also kind of reflecting that too. Pretty much neck and neck at the top. The next tier, slight advantage for Parasite, but then pretty even breakdown after that, somewhat at least. So again, it shows in the overall too about a 2,400 gold lead in favor of Team Who, only about 1,000 experience lead even in favor of Team Who. But Tremble continues to kill off some H's here. Double damage rune onto him, by the way. They drop it off to him. Glacius was going for the top rune. Unfortunately, not going to really work out. Silhouette in the background. She ports out quickly, though, as Tremble goes on to him with that double damage. Swift Blade, Swift Slash is doing a lot of damage to Prisoner. Just not enough for the kill, however. He's still chasing him down, and Tremble gets picked off. Tremble is still alive, pops a similar rage. He needs to auto-attack with it. I don't think he got any auto-attacks really off with it, though. In the process, Silhouette still trying to juke and jive. Remember, she has a token. It won't even need it, though, to kill off us. Tremble, at least, does fall eventually. It's going to be brought back up. The Mauler explosion doing plenty. Actually, Parasite's doing some good damage, but he has to get the hell on out of there, though. On those rollerblades up here, Swiftblade cannot chase him down, and that will be the end of it, it looks like, as far as the chase. But most certainly, Team Who coming out on top, and a token of life, a big part of that. For Silhouette in the end.
Yeah, I was watching the Swiftblade as well. Like, he ulted the Prisoner, which was good, and then obviously he sort of just chased him like really far off them, but she wasn't able to get the kill. And I think if he just went back to the team fight, he might be able to sort of survive or save the token Silhouette. But nonetheless, they do kill the Tremble, which is the biggest thing. And they don't want to try and pressure the high ground though, but just in case if Tremble does buy back, for example, and then they get wiped because Silhouette does not have the token anymore, so it'd be a little bit too risky for that play to be made. Yeah,
again, I think another big part of that fight, not necessarily sure how or why it happened the way it did, but Tremble, when he popped Similar Rage, I'm pretty sure he got maybe one, if that, auto attack off with it. The duration on it, how long does it last for? To 3.5 seconds. Obviously, it's not a long time, but he healed very little with it, and so they were like kiting him. I don't know if it was intentional or just happened to be at the same time when he happened to pop it. So the Similar Rage, in a sense, almost the extra gold spent for it, not really used the best right there. And another reason for why he fell in the end. But back into the momentum for Team Who once again. They've even had a bigger lead than they do right now in the game number 1 here. But Parasite's also being pretty impressive, honestly. He has a full demonic breastplate now.
Yeah, he really has.
His right clicks are actually dealing decent amounts.
He's farmed really, really fast, actually. And I mean, this could just go back to the Abyssal Skull as well, though. He first picked it up, and obviously that's going to help him farm him a lot faster as well, because there was the aura benefits to the creep he's in as well. But he has played a very, very good game as well, being exactly where he needs to be at the same time, not only because he's been farming very well, but like, even for kills and pickoffs and engagements, he's been there as well. So very, very impressive. And I wonder where he's going to go the next time, honestly, because he's got all the sort of utility items. I mean, I'd assume maybe a sheepstick next, actually, as well, perhaps, to deal with the Silhouette.
Dare he go something like a Brutalizer? I mean, he has a full demonic. He's hitting pretty hard.
But I mean, although he is hitting quite hard, and obviously he's got attack speed, I think he's more just going for the utility style. Because if you view it right now, the demonic is being viewed or played as like a utility item. So I think the sheepstick would maybe offer a little bit more, because he doesn't have a shrunken head, and if you have a shrunken head, he's just going to not take a lot of damage, but be controlled in these team fights. Your shrunken head is there just so you can get your right clicks off, but he doesn't have that, so he's got to rely on being inside a creep, for example, and not only that, but he's going to be inside a puzzle box mauler as well, so he get the greatest effects for a brutalizer. So I think sheepstick is fine, because you can jump in, sheepstick someone, then spawn the puzzle box minions, and then jump in one of those and stop the team fight from there.
Yeah. Look at the across the board here on the Hellborn side of the items that they have. In fact, they're going for Kona Tremble. They're very likely going to get this one right here. Tremble being locked out completely. Can't even pop the Shrunken or the Symbol. He pops the Symbol at the last second. But again, he had no time to even get an auto attack off right there. And that was without Silhouette. That was just Bubbles, Legionnaire, and Glacius locking him down to the point where he couldn't even pop the Shrunken head, like I was saying. So that's a huge kill once again. He's dead. He does have buyback, but, forcing to use him the buyback, that could hurt. But still, if it is necessary, I'm sure he will, and it could be necessary here as we see Who pushing into the base now, or at least going to attempt to at the bottom lane. I think it's safe to say Shrek may want to look to defend this as soon as they realize that that is happening here, and yeah, they're all TPing back to base at this time. So, Tremble, 40 more seconds remaining. We'll see if they can maybe at least stall it long enough, but that's going to be pretty difficult. They don't have a token to necessarily worry about, but so it'll be a very difficult team with a lot of damage potential and that really big catch. And yeah, you see they're having to play really far back. Without Tremble, they lose a lot of threat. They lose the front line threat that Tremble brings. So, gonna go for another hook. Oh, went a little bit too far. Prisoner gonna be caught. Now Tremble is porting in, by the way. He bought back. He pops the Shrunken, immediately goes on a Bubbles. Void Talisman popped though immediately in response. Very good item against him, of course. He's going for another kill. He goes for Swiftblade. Swiftblade drops very quickly right there, actually. Silhouette in the background. She is running away. Prisoner hooks. No, Legion able to port a key away in time. Bubbles gets caught. Bubbles does fall. Glacius also going to go down. They clean up right there. Legionnaire.
Yeah.
He does survive as well as Silhouette, but 3 are dead, and hey, buyback, but hey, worth it.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, honestly, they're having difficulties in whether they should be staying or going. Like, because when Tremble buys back, they should immediately be like, look, guys, just get out, get out. Even if they have to lose the Swiftblade there, that's fine. But then they lose the Glacier and they lose the Bubbles as well. That both have ways of sort of escaping. Like, obviously, the Bubbles has the Portal Key plus the sort of Shell Surf. But so he shouldn't be dying. So that goes back to maybe a little bit of indecision from the team. Because if they have in mind that, you know, after Tremble buys back, they leave or just go instantly, then Bubbles does not die. But obviously, maybe there could have been a call of, or you know, let's try and fight this, for example, but it backfires horribly. So
yeah,
and now Ogre pushing themselves. So.
It seems like with all that Bubbles does have with the Storm Spear, the Void Talisman, I mean, obviously in his abilities, the Portal Key, and then the Takeover and the Shell Suit, like, he should be able to get away.
Exactly, and they don't have the greatest catch. Like, it's not like they've got a Doctor Pulse or anything like that. They've got a Portal Key on Prisoner, but still Bubbles should be able to get out, but just indecision, clearly.
Silhouette jumps in, but quick poured out with the illusion, of course, so... the tower obviously fell in the background. Now, Silhouette, by the way, she has an Ice Brand purchase, so she is going for a Frost of Skull. Going to be next in line for her. She's chasing up. Now, that is the real Silhouette. As she baits, though, big time. Prisoner going to fall. Trample in the background. Ever goes right for Glacius. Glacius Storm Spirit in the air immediately. Swiftblade spin. He gets another kill, but he's on the run. He's distracting, if anything, because in the background now, Kinesis. He's going to start taking some damage from both Bubbles and Silhouette. Very likely going to end up falling. I mean, it's taken a while, actually, but finally they break through. And they do pick up the kill. Now Kinesis and Parasite, or Tremble and Parasite, excuse me. A little bit of trouble. Storm Spirit aggressively onto him. Things first. He has a symbol still. They are kiting him pretty well. He turns, he pops the symbol though. He goes for Swiftblade, who's standing on top. Is it going to be enough life still? It doesn't look like Void Talismans, man. Those are pretty brutal for him to deal with. And a double tap for Certus, and they clean up this time. It's just back and forth. Is what we continue to have here, ladies and gentlemen.
That was just a really nice play there from Swiftblade. I sort of criticised him a little bit in the other team fights, but that one he was doing very well. He was kiting the whole team from the Parasite and Tremble, while the rest of his team were cleaning up the rest, and then after that they just can have the ability to go on to Tremble and Parasite after that. So just really nice play, and now they're taking racks. So
no buyback on Tremble. That's again the big thing there. So they are finally able to break through in the bottom, despite what happened earlier. 43 minutes in right now. And Team Mu strikes first in that sense of taking out the racks. You do look at outer towers in total. There is the middle outer tower still up in favor of Who, but other than that, the other ones are down. And actually, they are going to go for Congo right here. Swiftblade actually going to lock down initially, but it's fine in the end, and they will finish him off pretty quickly. Most likely another token alive. Well, I don't know actually, because he has a full inventory. Silhouette does. Maybe give it to Swiftblade here. Maybe even Bubbles.
I think just drop the Ice Brand. I don't know about that. Like, because although Silhouette technically has 6 slots, I don't know. I just think because now they don't have the greatest way of sieging the base. Because if Silhouette sort of goes too far up, he can get caught out by the prisoner. I guess he does have his illusion to jump back to, I guess, but. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I think a Silhouette who has a 5 slot is going to be a lot more useful, plus with the token, than her having 6 slots but no token.
Well,
and I mean, like, what is Bubbles going to do with token? He's going to use like Shell Surf and Silence and Kelpfield, but then. Yeah,
again, the idea that you give it to a hero that honestly shouldn't be dying in the team fights because of all the ways he has to escape. I do find that a little curious. I would have rather get a Swiftblade, honestly.
Swiftblade, yeah. I think, if it was going to be anyone other than Silhouette, I think it should have been Swiftblade, but it's whatever, I guess.
Done is done, and they have it at least. That's the important part. It is a threat still. You do see the Frost of Skull, of course, delivered to Silhouette, so she's bulked up quite a bit now, too. 2,700 life. And, Tremble, we're noticing, it's just with all the Storm Spirit, the Void Talismans and everything, that's how you play against him. You kite him very effectively. Cluckmuck gets picked off right there on Andromeda, but he's not able to get off a lot of right clicks, it seems like, in these last couple of team fights, at least, because of how powerful they're kiting him. And a Frost of Skull is obviously even going to help more with that now.
Yeah.
I think that's extra evidence that that's a pretty strong item for them to have. A lot of gold pulled up on both Bubbles and Legionnaire as they are pushing in right here. 3,600 on Legionnaire. 3,100 on Bubbles. We'll see what that eventually turns into. Silhouette, the quick poured out to the illusion off the bat. And Doesn't have a Savage Mace, so doing a lot of misses right here, but trying to get close enough to eventually get a range so we won't be missing anymore.
This one I thought, like, if she has tokens, she can go on the high ground and just go really manly, but I guess it doesn't matter because they still take the tower down, I guess. But Ogre, they just have to kill Silhouette, I think. That's their biggest focus.
We'll see here, Prison Break to start things off. Treble charging in as well. Swift Slash is in the background, cutting through left and right. Sugar Heads pop. Prisoner does go down off the bat. Treble doing what he can, but again, so much mitigation. They lock him down with a sheep stick. He falls, and that could do it. I don't believe he has another buyback. The token life is going to be popped right there, but really, again, doesn't actually matter. Prisoner, he gets caught once again after the buyback. I'm sure GG well play is going to be popping out any second now in favor of Team Who. There we go. A quad kill for Certes. Well played indeed by our Hellborn team especially, and deserving of the victory. So they're going to have a 1-0 lead now in this best out of 3, attempting to move on to the losers bracket finals to then take on Nullstone Gaming. But yeah, Certes on that Silhouette, that was definitely a lot more impressive than we saw the first time around earlier in the week, that's for sure. And big reason for their success. But yeah, on top of that, though, the Storm Spirits of Void Talisman, I mean, it's just clear. Tremble, as farmed as he was, he had a lot of struggles getting off good auto attacks in those fights.
Mm-hmm.